Hello, my loves, and welcome back to Can't Stop Talking podcast. I'm in my bed, snuggled up, my favorite place to record these podcasts. I just feel like I'm so comfortable, so I get download after download when I'm in my bed, and I feel like I'm just talking to my besties. So, hello, besties. I'm so excited. After this podcast episode, I'm going to close my laptop at 3. I'm going to pick up my best friend, and we're going to go to the gym, which is fitting for this episode. And then my sister's in town, so we're going to go to the farmer's market. And I'm just so deeply grateful that we have a business that I can run from my freaking phone. Like, how insane is that? Whenever I want, I just feel like my grandparents are probably rolling over in their graves. You know what I mean? Like, I am so deeply grateful and blessed to have each and every one of you listening to me. I still can't go over it. And I'm just so blessed for this business. So, without further ado, let's get into the episode. The way I lost 20 pounds is the way I run my business. Easy. So I think, and I know that I run my business in a way that's different than everyone, right? I really, really have an emphasis on ease. And I'm seeing now, working hard is a buzzword and that people are shitting on people who are saying it's easy. And I just want to preface this with saying it is easy for me. I'm so serious when I say that. And my clients are too. When they come into my world, they're like, the number one thing they say to me is they go, you make everything so easy. And that doesn't mean that I don't work, right? That doesn't mean that I don't do work and I put work into my business and I take action. That work feels easy, like going on Canva. Are you kidding? I absolutely love that. Talking to you guys on this podcast, pinch me, right? But it all feels really fun and easy. I'm putting in the action. I'm putting out a podcast every week. I'm putting out content every single day. I'm going on my stories. I'm talking to my clients, right? But it does feel extremely easy and I feel extremely blessed. And I'm not doing it in a way that, I wake up and hate my life. In fact, I actually am obsessed with my business to the point where, like, if I'm in a bad mood, I will work on my business and I'll just be in such a better, creative, happy mood, right? It's something that I love to do, and I want that for everyone. So let's go back because I think this is really interesting. This is basically the story, and I've talked about the story on the podcast before, but I was someone who was a chronic dieter. Like, from high school till I was 25 years old, I was a chronic dieter, and I was working out every single day really effing hard, right? I was doing everything from workout classes to HIIT classes and running and just everything, right? And I was really putting such a strain on my body, and it was kind of that mentality of like, if I don't work out, then the whole world's going to end and like I'm not going to reach my goals. You need to be working harder, not smarter, right? And I just was brainwashed to society. I just saw so much marketing about, like, you have to do this workout or that workout, and you have to, be sweating at the end of it to actually feel like you lost weight. And I also, was trying every diet under the book. I was dieting. I've tried everything. Like, truly, I did Whole30, I did keto, I did counting my macros and my calories and military diet, like, those diets where you're like eating one egg for breakfast and a glass of wine at night. Like, I was doing everything and from a young age. And what I found is I would get results, right? They wouldn't be crazy. And then I would give up and I would go yo-yo diet, and then I would gain all the weight back, and then I would find a new diet that I could do at that time. And my brain was just filled with this mental of like, um, what do I eat next? Like, that's going to make me fat. I can't eat that. I can't eat this. And I was just filled with all these thoughts always. It was just so annoying. And it was hard. Like, it was absolutely hard. I was jealous of people who like didn't have to think like that at all and like didn't have the same problems as me. And it was just so, discouraging. Every time I lost weight, I would gain it right back. And the way I was losing weight was like a full-time effing job, going to hard workout classes every single day. I was living in New York before I lived in San Diego, and I was spending so much money on these workout classes. I was exhausted, right? I was, trying to do these diets, but I was starving because I was in the office and I was just constantly tired. And I would wake up the next day and do it all again. And if I didn't do something, if I ate something, they had pizza in the office and I ate it, or I missed a workout class, I would just beat myself up and I'd be so upset. And it just really did, like I say, sucked, because it just felt like I was on this hamster wheel that I was never going to get off. And truth was, I never lost weight and kept it off. And during COVID, it kind of hit me. I was like, this isn't working. I'm not getting results. I'm trying so effing hard. And I'm listening to everyone online saying, like, you have to put in, hard work, and you have to be sweating, you have to be dying, and blah, 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 blah to lose weight. And I was doing those things and it wasn't working. And I was just so fed up. So I remember during COVID, I really sat and I manifested. I was like, please, universe, like, I need some type of diet that makes things so much easier, like that I don't have this like mental battle going on in my head where I'm constantly thinking about what I'm going to eat next, or what workout I'm going to do next. And I remember like praying to the universe, like asking for this, and I stumbled upon intuitive eating. And your prayers from the universe aren't always going to feel like they're like a bolt, right? They're not going to feel like, it was more subtle. Like, it was like, what if I tried this intuitive eating? And I just want to say that about inspired action. It's going to feel subtle. It's going to be like, what if I tried this? But I want you to listen to those nudges, because that's what's really going to bring you to your manifestations. So I found Intuitive Eating, incredible book. I would do your own research and look it up. But basically the premises was, your body knows what it needs. Your body intuitively, if you listen to your body, mindfulness, it will tell you what it wants, right? And even if that's a cookie, but the premise is you've been telling yourself you can't have, this cookie. And so then when it is time on Sunday to eat that cookie, you eat 10 cookies, you're so full, and then you go back to your diet on Monday. The premise of intuitive eating is like, if you want the cookie, eat the cookie. And if you want another cookie, you can eat that too, but be mindful. Like, do you actually want it? Right? Or because you can have it, are you good with 2 cookies? Was that enough to, satiate you? And so I want you guys to look up videos and like really watch this, so I'm not butchering it, but basically get in touch with your body. I remember when I was dieting, I would say like, what is the healthiest thing I could eat for breakfast? Instead of saying, what does my body want for breakfast? Once I started asking myself, what does my body want for breakfast? I actually started eating that, and I realized I would get satisfied. And if I wanted to eat again in an hour, I would, right? My body knew how much to eat and when and what it wanted. And I was just mind blown. I was like, you're telling me I could eat pizza and cookies and ice cream and my body will know when to stop? And it did. And I would still lose weight. I was like, the hell? It can't be this easy. And that's the biggest block that I find with manifestation. I find with business. I found with anything in life, that we tell ourselves, either from society, from marketing, from whatever, that it does not get to be this easy. Once you allow yourself to know that everything in your life is allowed to come in the easiest way possible, your life will change. And so even though, and this is important too, even though my brain was saying, you can't eat pizza and lose weight, right? Even though my brain was telling me this is ridiculous, right? I said, I am going to believe it even when I can't see it. And that's another part of manifestation. People do not stay consistent with something enough, even when they can't see the changes, right? When they can't see the changes in their reality, immediately they decide it's not working. I said, I'm going to stick through with this intuitive eating, even when I don't see it's working. I'm going to keep the faith and believe until my reality shifts. So I started doing this new way of life, and it was definitely difficult. It was hard to let myself eat all the things that I never had, but know that my body knew it was right for me. And when it came to exercise, the same thing. They were like, intuitively, what do you want to do every day? And so I'd wake up and I'd be like, today I just want to walk. Or I'd be like, today I actually want to do a weightlifting workout, right? And I would actually wake up every day and I would ask my body, what do I want to do? Instead of just saying, you're doing these 5 hard workouts, right? And what happened is, as a woman, scientifically, my cortisol went down because I was just walking, right? It's not good for us to do these high interval workouts, even though marketing has told us our whole lives that we need to do this. And so the craziest stuff started happening. The other thing I started to do before I get into that is I started looking myself in the mirror and I started saying, I am hot. I'm sexy. I love my body. I'm safe in my body. I love the way I look. And I started to affirm to myself what I wanted to see in my reality. Because truth was, every time I lost weight, that didn't change my view of myself. Why? Because I wasn't changing the way I saw myself. I wasn't changing my thoughts about myself, right? It doesn't matter if you're 20 pounds overweight or you're 20 pounds less. If you don't change the way you view yourself, none of that effing matters. You're never going to be happy. So I changed my thought process. This is also what I do in my business, right? And so what happened is the craziest thing, you guys. The weight started to fall off. The weight absolutely started to fall off in the easiest way possible. I was walking, I was eating, I was still drinking, I was enjoying food. I was still letting myself have salads as well if I wanted. Like, I was totally mindful of everything I was doing in my life, and I was manifesting at the same time. And here's something I want you to know. In the beginning, I think I remember like feeling worse about my body first, probably feeling like I put on weight at first. And just like in business, you might feel like you're doing a new strategy and you're losing followers, or you're not getting inquiries, or you're not getting clients, but you have to keep the faith and consistency and see this strategy through and keep your belief about the strategy. It's like pulling back an arrow to go forward. You need to know that all of this is adding up. And even though in your reality, it looks like it's not working, a breakdown always comes for a breakthrough. So then, like I said, after I, maybe gained a little bit of weight, I started just dropping the weight, and it was easy. And I wasn't even noticing, honestly, that I was dropping the weight. But people around me were like, what are you doing? Like, this is so crazy. And I told them, I was like, I'm walking and I'm eating whatever I want, and I'm exercising when I want to. Right now, I usually walk, and then I'll do like 3 days of lifting. That's what I like to do, but that's what I want to do. Right. And it just clicked to me that I had no more thoughts in my head about like tug of war, about like what I was going to eat next, about like hating my body, about like when was I going to lose weight. I was so happy with myself. I was so happy with the way I looked from my affirmations. I was so happy with how I got there. And it just clicked that it got to be so easy. Like, I'm a little emotional talking about it because it was so much of my life that I wasted not loving myself and not realizing that all these things have been marketing tools, and that everything that you want is possible for you in the easiest, most enjoyable way. And so when that happened, it was the same time that I was starting my business. And I realized that, oh my God, I can use the steps that I used to lose weight to start my business. I could ask myself, how do you want to grow followers? Do I want to, make reels, or do I want to make posts? I decided I wanted to make quotes, right? How do I want to sell? Do I want to sell in the DMs, or do I want to do sales calls? How do I want sales pages? No, I hated making sales pages. It actually stopped me from getting results in my business because I didn't want to make sales pages, and then they would never convert. So instead I said, I just want to sell in my stories, right? So I took out sales calls. I was selling in the DM. I was only selling on my stories. I took out sales pages. I didn't have a website. I only used Instagram in the beginning, and I made it so easy. And all those things were just shoulds of other people saying you need to do this in order to get X result. But I knew if I just listened to what I wanted to do, the path that, I wanted to lead down, it would work. And so, like I say, it's not easy because you're not taking action. It's easy because you're taking the action that you want to take. So like I said, with working out, I'd wake up every day and I'd say, I want to go for a walk today. I would wake up in my business and I would say, I hate making sales pages. Why don't I just sell on my stories? And I was choosing what I wanted to do, and I was still taking that action, but in a way that felt incredible and easy for me. And the other thing I was doing, like I said, is I was manifesting. I was acting as if I was saying, I know everyone wants to buy from me. People love to pay me. People love to be in my world. Everyone loves to follow me. I was rewiring my brain to believe that, to see the successful version of myself. So even though in my reality, maybe I wasn't seeing that success at first, I was telling myself that. And then the success caught up. When I first started my Instagram, I had 0 followers like anyone else, right? But what did I do? I affirmed. I said, I grow 100 followers a day. I was talking as if I was talking to thousands of people until finally I started growing 100 followers a day. And now I have 20,000 followers, right? And I did it in a way that felt so easy, so incredible. And that's what I teach. That's what I preach in my programs. That's what I preach in my life, that it gets to feel enjoyable. I love my fitness routine. I love the way I eat now. I'm obsessed with it. I can't believe it's this easy. I love the way I run my business. I love my clients. I love my process. I love my manifestation. I wake up every day excited and giddy to work on my business. And that is a fact. Like, I really effing feel that way. And I hope that you can understand that from what I'm saying. So I want to leave this message of like, whatever it is that you are doing, whatever it is that you're hating right now in your life, the process, there is another way. There's an easier way that will get you infinitely better results. And even if someone else is doing it in a different way, and even though someone else did, 75 hard and lost 20 pounds, if that's not the way you want to do it, then there's another way. Even though that other coach says that you have to get on 100 sales calls, right? And you have to do DM outreach. If that's not the way that you want to do it, you're not going to stick with it and it's not going to get you the results. So I want you to get mindful. I want you to ask yourself, what do you want to do? And then on top of that, if you need guidance, pick the person who has the same beliefs as you, same values, and runs the business the same way that you want to. So I love you so much. This was one of my favorite podcasts ever. And I hope this really changed the way that you view the world and how you get to have things, right? Manifestation, hitting your goals, getting all your desires, creating the life on your vision board, even though you've been told it has to be hard, you have to work for things for it to, come to you. Truth is, it gets to be easy. And once you allow that, the path of least resistance does its work, and everything you've ever wanted, the health, the money, the love, it comes through in the easiest way ever. Allow it to be easy, whatever that means for you. I love you so goddamn much. If you want to be in my world, you can join DBA. That's for, the entrepreneur who is wants the foundations to hit 5 to 10K months. It's my baby. It's my signature program. If you're not ready for that and you're like, I want to get in your world and just see what it's about, go to my Instagram or the show notes and grab my masterclass Vault. It is so juicy. I actually have how to manifest in business, and someone literally manifested a client on that call, got $2,000 on the call. It works so incredibly well. Or if you're just like, I want to go all in, then message me about private coaching and I'd love to talk about it. So I love you guys to the moon. I love you guys to the moon, and I hope that you really enjoyed this podcast. And if you did, like always, please message me on Instagram. I love speaking to you guys and I love hearing how much you're loving the podcast.